Hi everyone, it's Pat here from Scrivener Art and Design, and today I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I work in my visual journal. So my visual journal is a Strathmore mixed media journal, and I like it very much because it takes a lot of abuse. You can rip this cover off if you want to have a nice finished looking cover, or perhaps decorate this cover as well. So it has the ability to handle a lot of media, and in the front cover they suggest using it for graphite pencil, watercolor pencil, pen and ink, colored pencils, oil pastels, soft pastels, acrylic, and collage. So it covers a lot of what I work with for sure, and of course I add dry media and stuff. And just so that you know, Strathmore is not sponsoring me for this video. It's just a product that I really do love. So I'm going to switch my camera and show you how I work in a journal and what I use it for. So one of the ways I like to use it is to cut pictures and words out of magazines and kind of put them together in a collage. Sometimes I will ask questions of myself and look for answers. So here I have something that came up: windows of opportunity. Extraordinary is seeing around you, just awareness. So different things can guide you. So this is one way I use it, just as a visual journal and getting some answers to questions that I might have. The other way I use it is just cleaning out my brush and then maybe journaling on top of that messy stuff. And then I'll also consider painting over this or sketching into it. So I like to build up a lot of layers in my work, and even if it's my sketchbook. So here you see a lot of background writing, and it's not a semic, it's actually me journaling. And here I've glued some images down. So in this case I've used some collage shapes, so anything kind of goes, and in no order, but somewhere in here, yes, I've used a lot of stuff to just clean my brush up on these pages before I started doing it on canvas. So then what I started doing was actually drawing onto the pages. So trying some different figure things based on how the page was feeling. And there's a couple there that I've started, not finished. And then there's these ones that I have worked through more. And again, leaving quite a bit of the messy background, just trying to find some shapes. This is where some of my inspiration for my bigger work comes from. And these are just fast studies, either from my imagination, or I might use a catalog or a magazine or some found images to come up with my shapes. So I hope that gives you some ideas. And what I thought I'd do today is find a spread here that is speaking to me today and see what I can do to put a figure or a couple of figures on top of the page, so you get an idea how I go about that. So I kind of like this one as well. I'm kind of liking this one with the writing. This one's super messy and kind of dark. It's got a lot of pastel in it. Yeah, so this is fun too. Yeah, this one's kind of fun. I think I'll use this one. This is speaking to me right now. Maybe it's the liveliness, the happiness of the polka dots and stuff. So I think that's what I will use as my background and come in and draw a couple images and start painting for you. So I'm going to do a rough kind of sketch on here first, and then come in and do some negative painting and add a little bit more detail. So I'm just using a fashion magazine here, a catalog, for my inspiration and fast sketch. So I'm going to perhaps put more than one figure on here. So rather than paint intuitively like I normally would, I am going to try some different poses. So again, I'm not worrying about accuracy of the anatomy. I'm just kind of wanting to get some different poses happening. So well, can't really see that very good, can you? So it's all about kind of looking at the shapes and the negative and positive areas of those shapes. For me, I usually abandon the photo reference and start just doing my own thing. So I may not put her hand in the pocket. Just leave it out like that. And I don't have room for her whole foot on this side, but maybe on this side. And I apologize that you can't really see my pencil marks here so good. Okay, and of course she's going to have hair, whatever that's going to look like. And let me find a partner for her, somebody that's going to fit nice on this side. So this gal doesn't look too bad with it. So maybe I'll use her. So this is, like I say, this is just a sketch, early idea to get some new figures and shapes in my DNA. So I'm going to tint some white up here. So I try in my sketchbook just to use less expensive paints, so more student grade. So I have some Amsterdam Pyrrole Red and some Demco Fluid Yellow, and I think that's called Cerulean. So I'm just trying to make a gray color, and I ended up with Dusty Rose. That looks better. A little bit more white. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to start going in and carving around these figures. You'll start to see this come to life a lot easier now. So even though the gal in the picture has wild hair, I may change this one into something with a headpiece on. Headdress, I guess that's what you call it. Now you could do the opposite. You could leave the background and paint in the figures. I just tend to find painting the negative space a lot easier, that I get a lot more spontaneous design. So I'm going to try and leave some of this to show, but I think I'm going to glaze over with my yellow. It's transparent. I'm going to put some over here. That's going to shift my blue to a green. I think I'm going to make some pinky, maybe pinky shade. It's got a lot of mauve in here. Maybe I'll make it a little bluer. This won't be the same because I have no idea what colors I was using on this, but it'll be close enough. Okay, maybe that's too many polka dots, and I'm feeling like I want actually something darker. So this is Atherquinone Blue, and it's a Demco fluid paint. So I am going to paint in her bottoms here. Putting a little bit of a shadow side here. Gonna actually widen out her pants, I think. Not so sure about all of that. I think I'll give her a bright red purse. So I'm going to add some white to that, what's on my brush here, and maybe just a touch of yellow, and come in and put a little color in the face. I want to put on some wild hair. So I have some charcoal pencil, a Lyra graphite stick, and just some charcoal. So let's see what we can do here. Scratch into that wet paint, kind of move it around. It's my charcoal pencil, it's not really doing much. And let's see, go back in here, make some green. So I'm going to come back in and add a little bit of separation between the jacket and the top here. So just put a little bit here and there to kind of fill it in. Okay, that got a little bit too yellow. Better mix it a little bit better. So that's a bit wet. Getting a whole new color. Brush is marginally big for doing that, but okay, so these shoes on this side. going to give her hair some dark. I'm just going to use this Hooker's Green right out of the tub. This is a color I don't use much, so it's really dark. And I'm going to put some into her hair now. Hopefully I can leave some of the let her hair run a bit. Pull that paint around. Just trying to stay free and loose as I can. Not really about making pretty, but about making making shapes and making kind of new stories. I think I need to make her arm bigger there. Feels better. Blot a little bit of that off. And I'm going to come back in, just put a little bit more in her arm. Just use a bit of blue. So just hold it up so you get an idea. It's very loose and very abstracted, just trying some different ideas. So I'm going to blow dry this and then I'm going to work on the other page. So I'm going to start on this page now, and I like these polka dots. I'd like them to show up in and stay if I can. So I picked this image as a guide, and I'm only using it to get a loose sketch in. I'm not actually referring to it after that. So I want to keep this, so I'm going to make this kind of her skirt. And I might lose her actual shoes and stuff in this, I think. So I just put her leg coming down. That might change. Then we have an elbow. I am not the best drawer in the world, I'll tell you. I think that's why I like negative painting. I find it way easier to see, but I'm just trying to get a quick reference in here. So you don't necessarily have to be great at drawing, just to give yourself an idea, and then let your intuition take over. So her hand is actually up here. And I very seldom use photo references, but because I'm looking to try and get some new shapes in my work, I thought that it would be a good idea. So I'm going to go with that kind of idea. And then let me put something next to her, and maybe I'll just find a different one or make something up. Okay, I just used that one. Okay, I like her pose, but I don't think I can make her fit. Okay, maybe this one. She's got her arm up too. Seems to be a thing. Okay, maybe I'll use the kinked leg and this one. That's a little bit different. So I'm looking at this big shape in here, this triangle. Her arm's up, so I don't think I'll put this one up. I think I'll put her arm down. Okay, close enough. Let's get rid of some of the background. Let's use the same color if I have enough mix. So I think I'll do this side dark for some reason and just for something different. So this is a real kind of blocking in stage of the painting, but because I'm doing this as a fast study, I don't really want to get too carried away with accuracy and detail and stuff. I want to get the gist of the painting down. These are just like warm-up exercises. So because I've been getting ready for my show, I haven't had very much painting time, and sometimes I find just doing some sketchy things in a book, well, not sketchy, but maybe sketcherly is a better word, that it can just kind of help you to feel like you did some painting and that you can let off some of your creative steam and energy when all you've been doing is admin work and packing and all the nitty-gritty stuff behind the scenes. You can kind of concentrate a little bit on your right side of the brain and creativity, even if it's in your sketchbook and even if you only have a few minutes. So I hear a lot of artists or students that I have say, oh, I never have time, I don't have time. You do have time. You just have to discipline yourself to do something instead of nothing. And so that something can be as simple as doing some sketches in your sketchbook, and they don't have to be wonderful and perfect. Just gets you into the creative mood, gets you practicing a little bit, and before you know it, you'll be off and running on doing a painting. So please don't hold yourself back because you don't have time. If you don't have time now, you're never going to make time. Okay, that looks a little wimpy washed out there. I need to put a bit more red in. So trying to stay loose is always harder than it looks, and I see there I've totally painted over what was to be her arm. So she might not have her arm up after all. Let me put some brighter color into here. So trying to preserve some of what was underneath, but at the same time liven up some of the color. Mix up a bit of skin tone here. No, not exactly skin tone, but okay. Okay, she ended up looking like she's got a little bit of a beanie hat on, or maybe it's a he, I'm not sure. But that may work, and I think I'll put in some, maybe legs on here. And she needs some hair or a headband, or she needs something on her. And then I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to change her form. And this is what so often for me happens, is I abort the reference image right in the beginning of my work. It's just my jumping off place if I ever use one. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that I very seldom use a reference photo anyway. But in this case, just because I want some new shapes, I'm trying some reference. So I think to clean up a little down there, try to make that a little more convincing that his kind of a masculine looking. This somehow doesn't quite mesh up for me. So if I go back to the reference photo, I'll see that this needs to come down more, and I'll have to widen that out. That makes that foot go under there. So see if I can make this a dark shoe. Something like that. Maybe this got to go up a little bit. So this is a big brush, so I'm not going to end up getting too much in the way of detail here, for sure. Okay, It's a little bit random, but that's okay. So I'm wondering about what to put on her. Maybe she doesn't need anything. So I'm going to come back in and just widen the leg of that red part. Oops. Oh dear. How did that happen? Okay, some things just are meant to be or not. Let's just see what happens. You know, just don't sweat the small stuff, hey? That's okay. That is where I'm going to pretty much leave this one. You know, I might come back in and do a little sketching around to give it a little bit more emphasis in places. So this is charcoal, but you could definitely just use a graphite pencil. And you could carry on this if you wanted to perfect it more, but for me, I'm not interested in the perfection in my sketchbook. I'm more interested in just experimenting a little bit. It could be experimenting with color palette or experimenting with shapes and forms and looseness, whatever it is that you want to work on. And you can set a timer and do these like in 20 minutes. Give yourself a time limit. That's going to keep you from diddling around and getting really tight. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm super flushed from the lights. It was quite hot. Anyhow, I'll give you a challenge. Get your sketchbook or a small piece of paper, set a timer for 20 minutes after you've put out your paints and stuff, and give yourself a short window of time and see what you can do. If you liked my video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment or question. It really helps, and share my video with a friend. And if you want some feedback on your work, come over to my community page on Facebook and ask to join, and I'd be happy to have you. Happy creating, and we'll see you soon. Bye.